My kindergarten year started out just great. I got over my beginning of the year jitters and really started to enjoy school. I remember celebrating my 5th birthday with my class in early September. It was now December and my class was in the holiday spirit, preparing to celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Ramadan. That's me, dressed as a dreidel for our own holiday pageant. What I didn't know when my brother and I visited Santa that year was that instead of asking for a Barbie-mobile, I should have asked for something more practical. I should have asked for a healthy pancreas. Let's go back to my brother. He's the one in that green sweatshirt sitting on Santa's right knee, looking at me like he's going to be so upset at anything that I say. You see, it's very possible that my brother is responsible for preserving my quality of life. You see, my older brother was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 7 years before this significant Christmas. I spent 5 years of my life watching my brother prick his finger with a needle and squeezing a drop of blood onto a machine that told him a number, a blood sugar level. I also watched him endure several painful shots of insulin each and every day. Now, back to that Christmas. About a week before December 25th, I started showing signs of high blood sugar, or hyperglycemia. I experienced extreme thirst, an incredibly frequent need to urinate, and severe fatigue. Not to mention, was I cranky. It turns out, I was exhibiting classic signs of a diabetic with an uncontrolled high blood sugar. My mother was able to quickly recognize these symptoms, as she had seen them in my older brother just 7 years before. I vividly remember the day my mom said she wanted to test my blood sugar at home. I'd seen her prick my brother's fingers day in and day out, and I wanted nothing to do with that. There was plenty of screaming, crying, and coaxing before she was finally able to sit me down at the kitchen table and check my blood sugar. Once she finally did, it was well over 300 milligrams of sugar per deciliter of blood. A normal range for a non-diabetic is 80 to 120 milligrams per deciliter. Panicked, my mother whisked me off to the Children's Hospital in nearby Washington, D.C. I still remember arriving at the hospital, which was fully decked out in Christmas decor, and just thinking, this can't be that bad. I see my brother Matthew deal with it every day. Maybe this whole diabetes thing is just a part of growing up. In reality, I had no idea about the severity of the situation. Sure enough, after taking blood and urine samples at the hospital, the doctor on call diagnosed me with type 1 diabetes. Let's break down what this means exactly. So, everyone has a pancreas. A pancreas is an organ in your body that produces a hormone. A hormone is basically a fancy name for a chemical. This hormone is called insulin, and insulin helps your body to regulate how much sugar it absorbs. You see, you need just the right amount of sugar in your blood for your body to work properly. When you have diabetes, the cells in your pancreas that produce insulin are destroyed. This means your blood is not able to control the amount of sugar, which can lead to really high blood sugars or really low blood sugars. Once we arrived home from the hospital, my mom set straight off on changing everything about my daily routines. My new diagnosis meant that I needed a complete overhaul of my diet. I needed to start eating on a very strict schedule. My meals had to be eaten at nearly the exact same times each and every day. This meant a lot of work for my parents, now that they had 2 kids with type 1 diabetes. One little benefit, though, was that I got to eat perfectly portioned snacks throughout the day. The purpose of these snacks was to keep my blood sugar stable and prevent it from going too low. The biggest drawback, however, was definitely that sugar in my diet had become an instant no-no. I thought the shots of insulin were going to suck, but this no sugar thing was definitely my biggest adjustment. After all of the excitement at the hospital just a couple of days before, Christmas that year came and went. I continued to open my presents, and I opened up my stocking, and my mom was clever enough to immediately switch out my sugar candy for sugar-free candy. It was an adjustment, but I was slowly starting to make it. I've come a long way from that Christmas, some 22 years ago. I still have my ups and downs, and these days, this is usually what my face tends to look like on a day when my blood sugar just does not want to cooperate with the amount of insulin in my body. As traumatic as it can be to be diagnosed with a chronic disease at the age of 5, I feel like this has actually been somewhat of a positive influence in my life. It's taught me a lot about being prepared, a lot about being independent, and a lot about taking care of myself. These days, I strive for just doing the best I can with my diabetes, and I look forward to living a long and healthy life.